crisis in Rivers State seems to be taking a different turn as 27 lawmakers have defected to the opposition party APC. Good afternoon and welcome to Nigeria Now. We'll be looking at quite a number of issues that are happening in Nigeria, ranging from security and then also look at the economy, government, and politics as well. I'm Sarah Elish Dasham, and I'll be doing the program with Rachel Tansey. Good afternoon, Rachel.
Afternoon, Sarah.
All right, and to our viewers, remember you can be part of the show by joining us live on Facebook and on YouTube. Drop your comment, drop your views on any of the issues we will be bringing to the table this afternoon. And we'd love to start with politics, looking at the ton of events in Rivers State. And Richard, you will recall that the rift in Rivers State started, I think, from October, where we saw the rift between the governor and the former governor, who happens to be the FCT minister, where it seems as if a lot of people had different views on what actually is the problem there, where we saw it seems a lot of people felt there was more of the godfatherism, godson, and all of this. And then where we saw that in November, precisely, the FCT minister accused or alleged that the governor actually was behind the burning of the Hallowed Chamber. That's talking about the State House of Assembly over there in Rivers. We knew that the place was burnt. And then quite a number of things actually happened. And then it seems as if there seems to be a lot of chaos, and a lot of people cannot just put a finger to exactly what the problem is. And then yesterday we saw where about 27 of the lawmakers actually defect to the APC. And they gave a number of reasons. Or one very big reason, which they say there seems to be there is rather a division in PDP, because as it is presently, they do not even know who the national secretary of the PDP is. Therefore, because of that, they are actually defecting to the APC, which they feel, regardless of whatever party they belong to, they can actually carry out their governance. We're seeing that on the other side, PDP feels that, I mean, if you are defecting to another party and it was the PDP that gave you the mandate that you're actually holding presently, then you are to vacate that office. And they said they are going to meet the INEC to actually say that those 27, because they were 32, but one person is dead, 4 are on suspension, so 27. So it seems as if presently, even the 800 billion naira that the governor is hoping to present as 2024 budget, I wonder who is he going to present that budget to? So quite a number of rift, crisis, and then upturn in the Rivers State House of Assembly presently.
I mean, Sally, my opinion concerning this whole saga beginning to unfold on the papers still remain the same, that we choose politics over governance in Nigeria. We choose power over selflessness. We choose selfishness over being patriotic in a lot of level, because whatever it is alleged, okay, nobody has proof. Even if that is the problem, that the governor set any place on fire, nobody have proof whatsoever. And then we can go on and on concerning if it is a crisis in PDP, what is that crisis? And we also see ourselves having a constitution that is very ambiguous and gives a lot of gap that makes it, it gives room for a lot of lapses.
Twist it to suit their own part of the argument.
Because we've been seeing this ever since 2023 general elections that took place in February, that of March, and up to today. We are having electoral petitions left, right, center. We are having cases in court just because our constitution allows certain things to be. And then we keep saying we don't even need an amendment. We need a new constitution, Sele. We need people to sit down and sacrifice time and generate new constitutions for Nigeria, because, okay, what kind of crisis should a party have that will run for over 27 members to defect? Is that crisis weak enough for them to defect, or what are the rules and regulations concerning this? Saying there's nothing clearly stated concerning what could amount to or what could lead to certain things, and it just allows for people to keep misbehaving. Now, secondly, as party members, are you supposed to stay and fix your party, or are you supposed to leave? because it also shows now and again that we allow certain things. It looks like, I mean, we can apply that to general
fact,
function of the
exactly.
country, Sele. We are not willing to fix anything. Nobody is willing to fix anything. Everybody is just willing to walk into an office, get what they want to get, and leave. It's the same thing. You step into PDP. If there have been crises, I don't want to believe this crisis just started today. They have been in existence, even if that crisis is truly a big problem. So why didn't you fix it? You stayed in PDP, got people's mandate through that party, and now you are defecting to a party that did not take you to that level. And there's just so many excesses that if we are going to look at this thoroughly whatsoever, this shouldn't happen. Now, in as much as we have Governor Fubara having an ESCO meeting currently and trying to see what is the way forward, I hope he comes out with drastic measures to take to save the state, because governance should be number one. We have started seeing states submitting their budgets,
Of course.
and every other state should do that. We stated how rivers have a lot of allocation coming from the federal government when it comes to revenue, because they're oil producing states, and we have seen a lot of laps and gaps in that state, that there's even a poverty level that shouldn't even be seen in the first place. There's just so many challenges that it should be one of those states that governance should be top priority and little of politics. Like, politics should just take place for a very short period of time, and we move in rivers and we face other things, because whether we like it or not, we are having militants still in the Niger Delta. We are having pollution left, right,
We
center.
have issue of cultism again.
Cultism, exactly. Bunkering, illegal refineries, and all of that. And these are all issues that don't need the leaders to be divided, but to be focused. But yet here we are since March, and we up till today. It's like there's no settlement in any state in Nigeria. Just very few states are settled and are facing the business of the day. Only very few states in the country. And then you wonder, where are we heading towards that? And I believe that for the FCT minister, when you want to be a godfather, you should just be on the side of growth. You shouldn't be on the side of showing power, because regardless, you already have the power, but your power has a jurisdiction. Your power has where it should start and where it should stop. You don't have to want to be in authority everywhere, because in the end, when you meddle and you stunt the growth, then you are selfish. You are not adding to the growth of Rivers State, neither are you to Nigeria, because you've left your job and you are focusing on what is currently not your job. And we can go on and on and on. And I just hope that the meeting, there is something substantial that comes out to be able to curtail this thing, and it doesn't get any bad. I just hope that the governor will be able to come up with a solution for Rivers State concerning what these lawmakers have done. I hope INEC will be able to step in, and I just hope that even the judiciary at Rivers State will be able to hold the rule of law in that state, and let not see what have been happening when it comes to certain things in other states that we've been seeing unfolding concerning the judiciary, and when it comes to political issues in states.
You know, I happened to listen to one of the decampees that actually left the PDP, one of the lawmakers, Honorable George, over there. And in an interview, I mean, quite a number of questions were being asked, and he felt more like the PDP was not concerned with what is happening in Rivers, because from when the issues kept happening back and forth, they, according to him, PDP never cared, like, what is happening, how can we fix this thing? And so they, if I'm to just paraphrase, or actually from his body language and all of this, it seems more like the parent PDP did not care about one of its child, which is Rivers State, what was happening there. And right now they feel like, why is PDP now having a voice? Because according to him, the PDP have been voiceless all this while with all that is happening. There was a court ruling where we saw in Abuja, and also the 4 other lawmakers that are presently on suspension and all of that. But I'm coming from the point where we're seeing that it seems as if the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary
ideally, they are supposed to work harmoniously,
Sure.
but then independently. Why? Just like you said, you need to know your jurisdiction, where you start and where you end. But whether you like it or not, the executive cannot work without the legislature.
Of course. No.
Neither can the legislature work without the judiciary, because eventually, no matter the law you make, the judiciary are the ones that to interpret what it means eventually. And so right now, if we are going to look at, just like we said, we're just using River State as a case study, and then looking at the bigger picture, which is Nigeria,
Yeah.
we've seen that it seems that the judiciary have just been acting like puppets in the hands of the politicians, because we see sometimes it's all about the highest bidder. If you're able to buy certain things, and then it works in your favor. And a lot of Nigerians are coming out to say, even if this issue should get to the court, where we are calling on the court to actually
Yeah.
interpret what it means, because just like we said, it seems as if both parts, talking about the lawmakers that defected and also talking about PDP, they are quoting the same constitution,
They
but
are.
then in how it suits them better. According to them, the only way you can defend if there is a crisis, and just like you rightly said, what is the definition of the crisis? You've not really explained to people to know. And then a lot of lawmakers are coming out, or the judiciary are coming out to say, I mean, if they have to interpret everything, we'll not be able to have the constitution. But I mean, there should be a room for
interpret.
certain interpretation
should be,
for
yeah.
people to really know, because we're seeing where people are actually quoting it out of context. When it does, it's just, when it is, you are interpreting it when it actually suits you.
Yes,
but then
and
when
they
it
are
doesn't
winning
suit
cases
you.
with the misinterpretation, so they
So
should.
of course, so I think right now I'm not seeing this issue dying down anytime soon.
Anytime soon.
So
yeah.
I'm hoping that the judiciary will come up with a better interpretation of that. The lawmakers will be able to put their act together, because regardless of which party you belong to, just like we said, it's all about being a patriotic citizen of
Yeah.
Nigeria. The people of your constituency that actually elected you in the ward level actually have a big expectation coming from the lawmakers. So right now, fingers are just crossed at this point in time, Rachel. I know that we're not done with this conversation
we're
yet,
not.
but then we'll just leave it here for a hold, and then just hope to see how the whole thing will unfold. Now we're saying that again, we are having blackout. Yesterday, I mean, for a lot of people, you will recall that there was no light. I mean, and the light was restored 7, 8, 9, depending on where people are. I mean, just was the last for the light to be restored, because of we saw according to the transmission company of Nigeria, they said there was a collapse again in the power grid. I mean, we were supposed to be having over 4,000 megawatts,
Yes.
and then it went down to about 400, and then there was not really any tangible reason, unlike what we had in September, where they gave us a reason because of a burn. So certain things happen. But then my concern right now, Richard, is not about the reason why there was no light. Let me try to use the plain language for Nigerians. But the concern will be, what is the Nigerian government doing to prevent things from happening? I mean, what is the Minister of Power doing to make sure that this does not happen again? Richard, you and I talked about the fact that multinational companies are leaving. Over 4 million small businesses are dying. More businesses are going to die,
Yes.
because a lot of people cannot afford to buy either diesel or the petrol, depending on what business you run. There was a time where we saw that even big companies were unable to run 24 hours for those who need to. For those who need to run for 12 hours cannot. Why? Because there was no light, that they cannot afford to actually run with the diesel. Now, what is the Nigerian government doing to support all the small businesses? Because whether we like it or not, we cannot keep having a reputation of every 2 months, every 1 month, we are seeing that power grid again, blackout
Yeah.
again, collapse again.
True.
I mean, when are we going to outgrow this? We look at other smaller countries where Nigeria is supporting to produce or to actually make sure they have power, and they're having constant electricity. So what is happening that the mother country, Nigeria, is always having an issue? Today, blackout, national grid collapse, blackout, national grid collapse again. So I don't know if this one is having again, the next will be again and again and again. What really is the Nigerian government doing to make sure that we don't have a replication of this again? Let's not forget, Richard, there was an increase of tariff.
Yes.
So you cannot expect Nigerians to pay more, and they are not getting the service eventually. Customers are complaining, consumers are complaining with all of this thing that is happening. So what can the Nigerian government do? Because I believe Nigerians just need the solution. They are tired of hearing the problems of Nigeria. They just want to know
What's
what
the way
is the
forward?
way out now.
Yes. I mean, Sele, for the gridlock collapse in September, I think TCNN clearly said what was the reason behind it. However, this time around, they refused to make mention of precisely, because your megawatts can't just go from 4,000 down to 43. Something happened. And I believe that they are worried, not worried, but they know that for sure, if you give the reason, Nigerians are just going to see the loopholes also.
lapse over
The
there.
lapse is also in your own system, because it's one thing after another. Today is an explosion, tomorrow is fire, tomorrow is this, tomorrow is that. And we are tired of the excuses and the complaints left, right, center, because you make it look like there's no solution to the problem, whereas there is. So I believe it's very intentional that TCN refused to give the reason to why there is a grid collapse this time around when it comes to power supply, because it's just going to show that perhaps there was a maintenance problem somewhere, or one thing or another. It will be flimsy in the end, because there must be a reason behind it. And in as much as we have the minister saying that the high price of gas is the reason, now it also shows us that, you know what, this power supply also depends on gas. And whether we like it or not, if this is a factor in play, we have seen where diesel have made businesses to shut down. And let's not forget that it has been privatized now. Electricity in this country
course.
have been. So we are looking at companies that have to depend on what the government brings to them, as in the prices of the commodity they need to run power supply in the country. And therefore, this is one factor that we can look at it and say is genuine. But if the TCN did not come out to say precisely this is the reason, and we have the minister giving his own reason, we also have to hear from them to know, okay, what is the way forward? But I believe, Sele, that amidst many factors, one of the major factors is that our sectors need revamping. And that is for sure. We see the refineries, we talk about it every single day. And if refineries are struggling, Sele, in this country, where we are an oil producing country, talk more of our power sector. You know that they also need a revamp. You know that we are just walking on thin line, hoping that everything for some reason will sustain us, because when last was there a major overhaul in the power sector that the government have done, or that the TCN have done? We haven't heard of any in a very long period of time. Only one problem being fixed, but what about the general overall
Rachel,
problem
if
when
they
it
keep
comes to
if
power
they keep
supply?
focusing on just one little section, sorry for cutting you short, I just want you to add up to this. I mean, it has been a point of concern for me, and I believe Nigerians as well.
Yeah.
The last time the president was in Germany, power was part of the thing
It
he
was part
talking
of it,
about.
yes.
In fact, before he traveled to Germany, the last time we had a company, cement company, they spoke about electricity as well. In fact,
They
that
did.
has always been the conversation. Power. So Nigerians would like to ask, if we keep having all of this conversation, weighing investors in this angle, and yet, just like you rightly stated, we need a revamp in this sector in particular, because it seems that if it has been privatized, I mean, since 2013, so that we're talking about like 10 years right now,
Yes.
and that the government is not doing anything, or we're not having a synergy. What really is the problem? If we keep fixing this and then we realize this, we fix this, we realize another problem, why not just fix everything at once?
I believe, Sele, it starts from one place, and I feel that that is where the government of Nigeria haven't gotten it yet. Sele, it starts with the revenue generation. I made mention that we are not a technologically advanced country. That is, we largely consume everything in this country from outside. We import, Sele, we import everything. On this show, we have expatiated on how largely we import even the minimalist like thing. So what this implies is that There are sectors that need a period of time for them to be able to be independent until certain amount of revenue have been generated into them. But I believe that there is no sector, so far in Nigeria, that have gotten the efficient amount of revenue pumped into it. There is no sector so far in this country. We can talk about health, we can talk about agriculture, we can talk about our mineral resources, we can talk about our textile, we can talk about every other thing, and even our revenue generating source, which is oil, haven't gotten the right amount of funds pop into it. And I believe that this is also the effect when it comes to power supply in this country, because when a country grows, demands also increase. Our parents will have a period of time where Nigeria had uninterrupted power supply, but what was the population at that time? And what is the population now? So automatically demands increase, and these sectors haven't been grown to the level that they will be able to supply for that demand. And this is, I believe, the problem. So just like every other sector suffering when it comes to revenue being put into, I believe that the power sector is also seeing the same thing. Now, until we go to that level where we generate enough revenue from every other sector that we can be able to see that we put into another revenue, another sector to be able to grow, we will keep, because you know why? We do not produce these grits in this country. So we keep importing them, and they are in billions and billions of naira. So you will imagine, with our current currency value and all of that, we have to keep managing everything that sustains this country. And that's why when our refineries collapse, because we are going to import everything, we don't have enough revenue to start importing it, knowing our narrow value and all of that. And you can see the vicious cycle when it comes to our economy. But the work can be done, Sele. The work can be done, and that is our emphasis every single day, that the work can be done in the economy of Nigeria, and we are rooting for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
You know, Richard, just listening to the plenty problems we have, especially when it comes to power, I cannot help but imagine, I can't wait for when we'll go and start using solar. When we don't even have to care about whether the grid collapse or it doesn't. Because we've advanced to that point where you don't even need it. Now, talking about leaving the conventional way we're used to things, we're seeing that the president is talking tough on his security. He was in Borno State, yesterday, where he actually was able to launch some of the electric cars. Kudos to that, because the fight for insecurity is real. And he has said he's not going to rest until he's able to secure Nigeria. We remember he also was very sad with what happened in Kaduna, and the fact that we need more intelligence when it comes to tackling insecurity there, because if we actually had adequate intelligence, what happened wouldn't have happened in the first place, because we'll have been able to get our facts straight and then be able to take out attack. But we're seeing that there are still pockets of attack. There was an attack in Plateau State, in Zamfara, and then a number of places. And we know, we keep saying this, not just in this program, but for every program we get opportunity to say that for any government, protecting life and property is your number one responsibility. Every other thing is secondary. So if you fail to actually protect the lives of Nigeria, you failed. You fail to protect their property, you have failed. And that is why every time Nigerians keep putting so much pressure on the government to protect everything, we cannot talk about all of these things, Richard, without even talking about security. Because if even the power grid is not being secured, we've had issues of people going over there, stolen things, vandals, and all of that things. We've had it in almost every sector. Now, the issue of insecurity, we cannot overemphasize or talk too much about it, because this is something that we can keep talking about it every day and on every show. Except the government do the right thing, Nigerians will keep asking. But right now, I'm happy the the president is talking about this. His government is very, very important to him, so he needs to protect. But beyond the talks, Richard, Nigerians want to see their action.
We do.
If you remember where we saw some of the reason why talking about the defense minister was talking about why they're unable to record successes. You and I were after the advisor Ribado, when he said that we have reduced. I mean, like, nothing has reduced.
Nothing, yeah.
There still is security because a number of things are happening. Kidnapping is still on
It's
the ground, all of that. But then looking at what the president said, and the fact that he's not going to rest, and I believe this is what Nigerians want to hear.
Yes.
But beyond that, they want to see the work. They want to be able to go to their farms. They want to be able to go to recreational centers without being afraid of any double bomb blast or anything whatsoever. A lot of things Nigerians need to hear about this.
I mean, Sally, when it comes to security, I believe it's a lot of work. It starts with the funding. Why I'm saying so is that as the president, if you say you are not going to rest until there's security in the country, then I need to also see your funding changing towards security in the country. That is what it means, is that it's not only about wage. When you fund, it also means the equipment our military get. It also means the devices they use. It also means every other thing that will be able to aid their work. We don't want to see that mistake of an accidental bombing. So what are the devices we can get? What are the things that we need to employ to make sure that certain things don't happen again? And if it means more funding to make that happen, even our gears for our military, what kind of grade are they using as it is now? You need to up it for them, because we are having situation where terrorists are having more firepower,
advanced
ammunition than us. What are you doing about that? Are our fighter jets up to date and all of that? These are all the things that that we need to see funding into it, and above all, also find other means. We talk about community policing, because whether we like it or not, we need more numbers out there watching out for communities, watching out for people, watching out for individuals, and then we can see some amount of growth when it comes to security in Nigeria.
Well, I think Nigerians will be counting on the president.
We
He has
will
also
be.
promised to take care of the security agency,
Yes.
providing every amenity that they need. So we'll be counting and be rooting and hoping that everything will work out well. Thank you, Rachel,
You're
for
welcome,
doing this
Sally.
with me.
Thank you to our viewers for also keeping a date with us. Until we come tomorrow, do have a blessed day ahead.